when we went down to try and get something together for toxic exposures for veterans, right, who had been exposed to burn pits, we had some advocate groups that had been banging down doors for 10 years and not really getting anywhere. We brought in a meeting, a bipartisan group of congresspeople, almost all veterans, who had absolute interest and desire to do something about it. We educated them in the room. We got access, which you normally can't do, to this group. We're not lobbyists. We're door open. We laid out the case very compellingly to a bipartisan group. They were in agreement that something needed to be done. When the meeting was over, this is at the very beginning of this process, they pulled us aside and said, "This is fantastic, but we're really busy. Could you write it?" Now think about that. We're the legislative body. We're Congress, but we're so busy that we can't write the urgent legislation that you need. So will you write it? Now, we're just a group of ragtag idiots who are down there trying to get this thing done. But now imagine you're a pharmaceutical company, or now imagine you're a giant bank, and the representatives that you're lobbying are busy, and you know that, and you can exploit that. And so the legislation that is crafted is actually crafted, I think, by the very entities that we should be restricting, or we should be regulating.
You're absolutely right. It happens all the time. I mean, there was a great report recently about the fossil fuel industry. It was in Politico. They wrote up all the new regulations and laws they'd like to see Trump institute if he's elected. And then he says, well, give me $1 billion and we can make a deal, basically. You want to know why not enough is happening about climate change? That's it,
right.
In, one sentence. But what are those legislators so busy doing? Take a look. I mean, I'm sure Noah knows this. Every afternoon, they get on the phone and they dial for dollars. They have to raise money all the time.
So you're saying the money is even tied into their time.
It's a huge commitment of time. I remember Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan kind of blew the whistle on it and said, I can't believe it. I have to spend, 2/3 of my time on the phone raising money. I mean, I hate to sound like my great grandmother, but it is kind of the source of all evil in a lot of ways. And again, unless they get a handle on it. And why are these people having so many problems out in the country? Part of it has to do with, take a look at what's happened over the last 40 years in terms of taxation and those tax bills that get passed by Congress. In the last 40 years, $50 trillion was transferred from the bottom 90% to the top 1% through taxation. So people are really feeling stretched on the bottom 90% of the country.
I don't even know if there's a bottom anymore. I think it's the middle class in those eras that you talk about, Jane, could have a job, could buy a house, could put their kids through school, and they could do it all, not easily. It was always stressful, but not today. The middle class has no opportunity to do that.
True. I mean, again, how does that happen? Why is it that we've been through a 40-year experiment in radical, inequality?
Right.
Well, it's not an accident. Look who's running the government. Who makes the tax policy?
The Weekly Show with Jon Stewart is a Comedy Central podcast. It's produced by Paramount Audio and Busboy Productions.